This is Block 7, the Greatest Generation, Section 5, the home front, with the section beginning the Office of Price Administration. In order to control the economy, you have to control prices. And in order to control prices, the government set up the Office of Price Administration. And what the Office of Price Administration did was it put rations on goods to keep prices under control. It controlled the demand for all kinds of consumer goods that you can possibly imagine. It determined how many miles you could go in your car. It determined how much meat you could buy every week. It determined how much flour you could buy every week. It determined how many eggs you could buy every week. It determined how many new suits you could buy. And what the government would do is that it would send every citizen a ration book. And inside the ration, it would have your name on it, your address, your official government identification number. And in it would be these ration stamps. And you could only buy what the ration stamp said you could buy. Every week you might get a dozen eggs. Every week you might get 50 miles worth of gasoline. And every time you bought something, you had to buy it with money and you had to turn in a stamp. And if you did not have a stamp, you could not buy that item. It is as simple as that. And you got rations based on how many people are in your family. You know, if you had a big family, you got more rations than if it was just you living alone. Now, of course, there was a degree of fraud, and it could be taken advantage of, and people could sell their rations on the black market. But by and large, everyone bought into this, and you only could consume either what you produced yourself or what you had in your ration books. All of the countries that fought in the war did this. Americans, you know, got off a lot easier than the Brits and the Germans and the people actually doing, you know, in Europe or Asia where the fighting was taking place. But this was domestic life. You had to make do and scrimp. And if you needed three dozen eggs and you only had, you know, a dozen eggs a week, you had to save eggs for 2 weeks. For example, if you had to take a 300-mile drive and you only got 100 miles worth of gasoline every week, well, you had to not use your car for 2 weeks so you could make that long trip that you wanted to do. But by and large, Americans bought in because by and large, Americans were behind the war effort and what needed to be done to win it. The government intervention of this is vast. I mean, just imagine the bureaucracy that's needed to run such a program, to gather everyone's information, write down their names, send out their ration cards, determine what they need. And this is why people have jobs again during World War II, that government intervention in the economy in this instance created an explosion of production and a huge plummeting of unemployment for lots of different reasons.
Funny interruption with a visit of Brandon